Hi, this is Dr. Aruna, Assistant Professor, Department of English, KCS Kasinadar College of Arts and Science. Now, we are going to analyze the history or the development of English language. The history of the English language started with the arrival of three Germanic tribes who invaded Britain during the 5th century AD. These tribes, the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes, crossed the North Sea, which is referred as Denmark and northern Germany today. At that time, the inhabitants of Britain spoke a Celtic language, but most of the Celtic speakers were pushed west and north by the invaders, mainly into the place that is known as Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. The Angles came from England and their language was called English, from which the words England and English are derived. When we talk about the history of English language, we can't help discussing Old, Middle, and the Modern English. Old English. The invading Germanic tribes spoke similar languages, which in Britain developed into what we now call Old English. Old English did not sound or look like English today. Native English speakers now would have great difficulty understanding Old English. Nevertheless, about half of the most commonly used words in modern English have Old English roots. The words be, strong, and water, for example, derive from Old English. Old English was spoken until around Middle English, 1100. In 1066, William the Conqueror, the Duke of Normandy, invaded and conquered England. The new conquerors, called the Normans, brought with them a kind of French which became the language of the royal court and the ruling and business classes. For a period, there was a kind of linguistic class division where the lower classes spoke English and the upper classes spoke French. In the 14th century, English became dominant in Britain again, but with many French words added. This language is called Middle English. It was the language of the great poet Chaucer, but it would still be difficult for native English speakers to understand. Early Modern English. Towards the end of Middle English, there was a sudden change in pronunciation. That's called the Great Vowel Shift, with vowels being pronounced shorter and shorter. From the 16th century, the British had contact with people from all around the world. During the renaissance of classical learning, many new words and phrases entered the language. The invention of printing also meant that there was now a common language in print. Books became cheaper and more people learned to read. Printing also brought standardization to English. Spelling and grammar got fixed. And the dialect of London became the standard. In 1604, the first English dictionary was published. In the late modern English, the main difference between early modern English and late modern English is vocabulary. Late modern English has many words arising from two principal factors. Firstly, the Industrial Revolution and technology. Secondly, discuss about a brief chronology of English. In 1348, English replaces Latin as the language of instruction in most schools. In 1362, English replaces French as the language of law. English is used in Parliament for the first time. In 1388, Chaucer starts writing the Canterbury Tales. In 1400, the Great Vowel Shift begins. In 1476, William Caxton establishes the first English printing press. In 1564, Shakespeare is born. In 1604, Table Alphabetical, the first English dictionary, is published. In 1607, the first permanent English settlement in the New World is established. That's called Jamestown. In 1616, Shakespeare dies. In 1623, Shakespeare's first folio is published. In 1702, the first daily English language newspaper is published in London. 1755, Samuel Johnson publishes his English dictionary. In 1776, Thomas Jefferson writes the American Declaration of Independence. In 1782, Britain abandons its colonies in what is later to become the USA. In 1828, Webster publishes his American English Dictionary. In 1922, the British Broadcasting Corporation is found. In 1928, the Oxford English Dictionary is published. This is all about the history of English language. Thank you.